Hello, everybody. Let me pull up chat on my phone. I don't see anybody over here on this end for some reason. Now I see Connie S. I see her over on Restream. Now, when I got the app up, I can see everybody else. Hey, Hot Damn, Mama B, Kate, November Rain. Hey, everybody. Linda. I sent RJ the link. So I was running late. It was me because let me make sure he knows I sent the link. Hey, Lady May, Robin. I see you. Jam, how's it going? Oh, guys, I have been I just got in I was on the phone and dealing with some stuff. So my apologies for being a little bit late, guys, Oh, and then I was also trying to, okay, I think I just heard him. I wonder why it shows black screen for him. I wonder if there's a way to, okay. Let's see here. Are you there? RJ?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah.
There you are. How's it going?
I'm doing good. I was on the wrong mic setting. I apologize.
Yeah, I think your camera's on. If I'm just in case, I don't know if it's like black.
Okay. I don't have a camera still. I never had a camera, so I can't.
Okay. I was just letting you know, just in case you didn't want it on. If it was.
No, it's just when I built my computer and I set up my computer, because it wasn't a pre-built, it was what I just never bought a camera.
Yeah.
So it was.
That's how. I had one of those custom-made computers, just like somebody had made, and made it into like a gaming computer kind of, and it also didn't have a camera. You had to buy an external one. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
But
no, I just, I'm one of those people that to cut an expense to put the money that the $100 into something else that would actually improve performance on the computer, because I am also into gaming and things like that. Yeah. I'm gonna do that type of deal, and that's exactly what happened when I built my computer.
I got into Final Fantasy 14 recently, and I wish I wouldn't have, but I haven't. I've been kind of like staying away from it for the last week, so I'm trying to because
I got into Elden Ring for a little bit, and I was just like, I got to get back out of this because this is just no.
Yeah, I get too. It takes up too much of my time, and so. But it's good to see you. You haven't been. Everybody was happy to hear that you're going to be a guest, and
I saw that. I saw that. And hello, everybody. I am still around on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more focused on being in chat, and honestly, I've been more focused on watching and talking about court cases that are actually in court right now. More than I have been doing anything else. And no, nobody has missed a live. I have not been live since November. And there's reasons for that. Ziggy is aware. I'm not dropping a bombshell or anything. There was only a handful of people that knew this. So if you didn't know, please don't know. If you watched John Q earlier this week, I was on talking to him. And the people from there, they found out earlier this week. I actually had to step away back in November. I almost had a stroke. Just being serious moment, being honest, being real. I almost had a stroke. And I had to put my health as a priority for a while. And that meant stepping away, backing away, and doing things a lot differently.
Wow. Gosh, do you know what was that, like stress induced?
I think a more so genetics issue.
Yeah.
I don't know my father's side of my father's side of family. Mm-hmm. I remember my father being on medication for blood pressure and cholesterol, I believe, when he was part of my life. But it's one of those things. The genetics are there, but you never truly know.
Right. True. Oh, that's scary. But yeah, that's that definitely. I think a lot of people took a break around the same time, actually. But yeah, you were gone for a while, I think. Anyway, so have you been keeping up at all with like the stuff that's people are saying about Summer Wells and all that?
Bits and pieces here and there. I'm not completely unaware of what's going on and what is being said. I saw Justin the other night when he was live.
You did? Sorry, I was just laughing out. What? Yeah, my big gulp. Now, this does not have the special stuff in it that, Jody Sue puts in hers. This is Diet Coke. I do not drink at all. You'll never catch me drinking, guys. Not even probably a sip, I don't think. I don't like the way anymore that it makes me sick, so.
Val, I'm nearing 50 years old, so I'm not as young as you may think. I'm definitely in
young
midlife.
At heart.
I'm definitely midlife type of range. But I've been, as of late, I've been very, very focused on my job. I got promoted. I'm not on phones like I was before. However, I'm not working for a different company. I have a very nerdy side to me, where I'm into computer programming and things like that.
I used to be really big into that, but things are too complicated these days for back in IRC days. Back in when things were a little bit more simpler. I wouldn't be able to do all that stuff now.
what I do is more focused on real time. Without going to great detail, real time code, what it does for it is the behavior of the code, and if the code needs correction, we can do that real time for the business industry that I have to monitor it for. So it's that kind of. It is stressful, but it's work that I'm capable of. So I'm enjoying it.
Let's see. Let's see. So I'm looking here, seeing what's been posted in the Summer Wells case, like in the last day or so.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mama B, by the way. I do see she said congratulations. Thank you very much.
Hey Ray, hey everybody. So let's see, like what should we talk about first? So let's see. I didn't even have, like I told you, I didn't have like a top. Usually we just we'll get going. It may take a little bit, but we always get on a roll and we always get a good conversation going. So give us a little bit, guys, to get on to some kind of subject. If you guys have anything that you guys want us to talk about, Put it in the chat. Any ideas that we should talk about first, like when it comes to the Summer Wells case, that you guys want to address and hear RJ's opinion on? Because you guys probably know mine on a lot of the stuff. Of course, he said he hasn't been around like that much, but one thing that comes up that I am thinking of, I know that everybody this like do you think there's been some kind of like really legit new TBI tip outside of like you know how the PI was saying that there's this two brothers turn yourself in. Do you think that's anything?
I have a hard time at this point to say that TBI um, hasn't done a lot of work that they don't talk about, can't talk about, and that if there was a leaf that needed to be discovered or overturned, that they haven't already done so as far as their satisfaction is concerned.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. There's a couple brothers, like I said, that came up. Like I thought that possibly Hayes brothers. I thought like there is the Shipley brothers, and I do know that there was a bike that was broke down at the afternoon. It would have been before Summer went missing, probably. So Fred's not around here, so I can't get the exact time. But the bike was broke down. It's right like when you turn off right on Beach Creek off of Ben Hill, and I guess it was off near Tim Shipley's like driveway, which is Bill Shipley's brother. And he was out there helping the guy and stuff. Fred stopped to try to help this guy. So I'm just wondering, like, what that Fred doesn't know who that is, and it bothers him, who that person was and stuff. So I kind of wonder about that too. So is it true? Yeah, I also heard that Don supposedly wrecked the Subaru, and the rumor is like trying to. I don't know where this came from, but supposedly wrecked it trying to run Candace over. I don't know if that's a bunch of BS or what.
I don't doubt it,
but
I won't doubt that because there was a rumor, and this is going to be hard to prove because of the nature of what I'm about to say. I'm not trying to pull somebody else who that like to come on lives and be like, I got a secret, I know things. Okay, what I'm saying is that it's been completely radio silence for Hawkins County for Rogersville police with dealing with 110 Ben Hill Road specifically.
Mm-hmm.
They have like completely squelched out. They're not. You can't pick them up anywhere any longer, and that's been a couple years now. However, I don't think. I believe the police have been there a few times on bigger issues than telling them to knock it off and go to bed.
I wish we could get the FOIA every time because I really feel like that could tell us a lot. I do believe that it would tell us certain people that's been up there hanging out. Mm-hmm. I know of one incident I really am interested in. Bill Benton was a part of, and police were called, and it was a group of people up there. And I know for a fact the police were called. So I really would love to know who that group of people was up there. And I think there's some people that are hiding that. And that's part of the reason why they are now in supporting of the Don and Candace so hardcore, because Don and Candace have blackmail on them, probably. That's just my theory, of course. But I would love to get police reports.
From what Lady May in your chat was just saying, what I was about to say is I don't believe they're together on the Hill any longer. I believe there was an application for an RTO, and it wasn't like Don or Candace. It was the police are filing it. Police and the prosecutor are filing it, and it's that usually goes on both ways.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that whole incident could have had something to do with Summer Wells, like the argument or whatever? I just
We
know.
used to we used to talk about how this was going to, with time, was going to
Mm,
destroy their relationship, not with each other, with their kids. With their kids happened much sooner on than their relationship, but it's a toll on their relationship.
RTO, I think that's like a protective order or
It's a
a
restraining order.
yeah. Same,
Some
yeah.
some courts will call it an RTO.
I don't know if there's any way to look that up or whatever. I did recently look up their names to see if I could find anything new, like just a couple days ago. So, but the way the RJ's explaining it, I'm not sure if it would be in the system or not.
I don't believe, because it's handled through family court. Whether or not they're investigating criminal behavior or not, that would be obviously criminal court. But with RTO, it's civil. So I don't, like I said, it's really has been a lot of blackout on
It got all
information
my
coming from them.
somehow 666 got my whole thing and posted it all over the internet. So I
Yeah.
guess I guess they're somehow able to. I would think that you'd have to be one of the people in the order to get it legally. But people have their ways, I guess, because I think something like that is supposed to be like personal or private. Really, I don't know. Yeah, and that's kind of why too they claim like there's some stuff. What about Grandis? It's rumored that there's like channels now saying that Grandis is deceased since early 2024. Do you believe that?
What I heard and what I believe is that Grandis was told to go away.
Uh-huh.
Do not return to this property. It's not a restraining order, but had everything to do with her brother,
Mm-hmm.
and that she was actually not supposed to have contact with minors.
Yeah.
Related
That's
or not, she was not allowed to have contact with minors.
Yeah. And that's another instance, like probably through the family court, which that we wouldn't be able to get very easily, proof of, because they keep stuff like that secretive. So
Yeah,
I know.
no, yeah. And if it's in a different state, a lot of times it won't transfer like people think.
Mm-hmm. I know Josh, the lab, got some kind of documents. I'm sure he got them through Chris McDonough somehow, I'm guessing, because I don't know how. I forget what documents he got, but and why is that? What do you mean, Lady May?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we have a little more information on your question there?
My memory is horrible. I forget from once, my short term. Is she a pedo? Oh, you mean a Grandis? Is she?
I'm gonna
Well, I
stick.
mean, that's what this rumored. Like, there's something
I'm
with.
going. I'm going to stick with. I think it has something to do with her ties to her brother.
Until I know there was some stuff put out, and I hear like she was ordered to not be around children. It has something. I probably shouldn't speculate really, because I don't. I know it's something like not good though.
Oh no, I agree. It wasn't something good.
And I've heard people saying, she's just as bad as her brother or worse or whatever. But I do know that Fred overheard law enforcement, whether people want to believe it or not, he overheard law enforcement mentioning that, she wasn't supposed to be allowed around kids. So
Right.
he overheard something like that. I don't know if that's exactly how it was said, but so
Right.
that's even more,
It's one of those that because it wasn't 100% to do with Summer and her disappearance. It was just, we know you're here. We know you're not supposed to be here. You need to leave, or we're going to have to pursue charges. And they let her walk away.
Didn't somebody say, speaking of stroke, I think that's what they were saying, like happened to her, is that she had a stroke. Am I just or something like that. Am I just imagining that, guys? Can somebody pull some cards on Grandis? Okay, I will here in a second. I've heard that. I won't do a big reading because this is supposed to be for Summer Wells, but for a minute. You think Grandis would have made a video regarding her mother on YouTube channel? Or Candace would have made a video regarding her. I don't know what that means, Ray. I've heard that before too, Ziggy. Early on when Summer went missing. Oh, the 304 area code. I'm sorry. I know you guys want to. So recently somebody found I don't know. We've probably seen it before, but maybe it's just resurfaced. It was from, I guess Dawn made a Facebook page and was going to start some little business called Summer Moon Utah Wells Restoration Service or something like that. And it's supposed to be for, it's some kind of construction company he was going to make. And it was he made a Facebook page and stuff. And the phone number attached to it was a 304 area code number. And somebody was wondering why they have, that's West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that could just be just because they wanted to, it could be just nothing. They wanted.
Well, if you think back to, I think it was the week after, or the second week after Summer had actually gone missing. It was in June. I'm going to put it that way. I don't remember the exact date. There was a rumor that he had taken a trip and went to Kentucky.
Yep.
And it was up that direction. It wasn't just, okay, he's going to go over to, a business that's in Kentucky. He was going up, all the way up that way.
Mm-hmm. And I remember that. That was really a suspicious trip at that time. I remember it. That was very early on too.
They had tracked him down when he was in Kentucky, and the conversation at that point was that they had to convince him to turn around and come back because it was looking really bad that he was there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the church people convinced him, and maybe, I don't know. I think Cher was talking to him at the time too, and might have. But so yes, Linda, I knew that Jody Sue's dad was a sex offender. Now, not on children, but yes, on he is a sex offender, or was. He passed away or in prison a year or two ago. So yeah, I mean, this run is generational, guys. I mean, that's why I'm saying it's deeply ingrained in that area. Jody Sue claims that she was basically raised by Andy's parents from 13 years old,
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that, or even younger. I think she said maybe even 11. And Andy would have been around 4 or 5 years older than her. Linda, Jody Sue's dad supposedly kidnapped her. I heard that story too.
Oh, I heard that too, and I had absolutely zero faith that actually was the case.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because that being the case, I don't know about that. I mean, I know he wasn't a good person and stuff, but I don't think there was any charges. There would be with something like that. I would hope that they would have pressed charges, and he has a record, but this is a huge trafficking ring. Yes, I do believe it is. Oh yeah, you guys wanted me to draw a card to see. Yeah, I do. What's your theory now? I mean, is it still, do you have a set theory on what you believe happened at this point?
I don't believe she was kidnapped. Don Wells, and I always laughed at this because he said that some hillbilly came down and took his kid.
Yeah.
He says that, but he doesn't understand what he is saying. And that's the thing that still strikes me as absolutely insane, is that he doesn't realize what he's saying, but he opens his mouth and speaks.
Because he's a drunk himself, so.
Do you know where Hillbilly's from?
Where?
West of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, through Ohio. It covers like Wheeling, West Virginia, all the way into and through Ohio. But don't tell a person that lives in the cities in Ohio that they're a hillbilly, because they'll just think you're.
No, he said druggy hillbilly. Sorry. He said druggy hillbilly, not drunken hillbilly, is what I'm sorry. I was just talking to myself. But yeah, so he's talking about
a person that would be from that area of the country is not going to come down to Tennessee to kidnap a kid.
The refrigerators are a huge part in the trafficking. Why do you think that? Refrigerators. You think? She said her papa had to go find her. What do you mean, Rhiannon? But yeah, I do believe, obviously, that there was a drug debt. And yeah, that's how. I don't know though. Like, I'm now torn about whether she was given to this group in Knoxville, or that, you know, it's like through drug dealer connection, or I don't know if it's that, or if maybe. I do believe there was a debt, absolutely. And that was, and also the fact with CPS and all that stuff. There was plenty of reasons why Dawn would not want Summer around anymore, that he could be worried for some, you know, with her starting school and stuff. And these rumors of the drug debt, I believe that. I just don't know who she was exactly handed off to, whether it was like an illegal adoption. I was so sure for so long that it was like this, the drug, you know, like drug connection, but.
So electronic mediums here. Hello, electronic medium. Long time no see.
Hey.
She was onto something. I firmly believe she was onto something with the with her spirit box session that kept coming back as being sandwich medicine.
What did it say?
Sandwich medicine.
Oh, yeah. I do think she was sedated. Absolutely. That day. She absolutely was sedated.
I believe, and I firmly believe this, that she actually got into something that she wasn't supposed to. And if you look back at what happened, I think it was about a year ago, FDA came out with a thing where if a child was taking I apologize. That medicine that's supposed to be over the counter, somebody's going to know it in your chat in a moment. You may even know it to help you sleep. I can't remember.
Oh, melatonin?
Yes. If a child is being given melatonin, it is considered a health crisis at that point, because they were finding, after they had done studies, that there was issues with children taking melatonin. It was causing problems that were unknown. I honestly believe that they were giving her something. A combination of, she had gone swimming that day. She was sitting in a car and I believe it, if I remember correctly, it was like 85, 86 degrees that day. And it had not even gotten to the high of the day when they would have been at the grocery store. But being there in that grocery store parking lot, in a car or in a truck, no air conditioning, that there's something happened somewhere between swimming, as Hunter said. Hunter reports. Oh, let's not really get into that one. Between there and being in the truck in the parking lot, while they went grocery shopping, priceless. I believe something happened.
Mm-hmm.
And because it wasn't until Candace went back and retold what happened that day. She went to the house, said, "Come on, boys, let's go. I have groceries got have to be brought in." They went to the truck to go get the groceries to bring them in, and then she had to go back for Summer. She had to make the point of saying, and then she went back for Summer. That's an out of place statement. That when I heard that, I was like, "Whoa."
See, I do think she was sedated, but I you know, of course I can't go, and I know people get fucking tired of hearing about it, but I have to know where Andy fits in that equation. What was he doing on the road? If it was something like that, you know, I know he was on the road is the thing, and I know you guys, you know, don't have absolute proof of that, so it's hard for you to believe it, but I just have to, you know, always fit that into my theory. Jody Sue did say, you know, Andy was giving the kid, you know, selling things to sedate kids up on the hill. And it makes you wonder, is that where he came involved? Was it his stuff that was used in some way? And I don't know. Like, could she have accidentally, could they have gave her too much or something? Or could she, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Or the combination of, it's possible she got into whatever they had in that Sunkist bottle that wasn't Sunkist. That was not the color of Sunkist in the U.S. Even if it had been in the sun baking, it would not naturally be that color. That was more of a color of either like a high C orange drink mix, or that's something that you could buy at a head shop. That's not that would have that color and flavoring as well.
I thought that for the longest time that there was something that they were like sipping on in that bottle, like maybe, like, because I even talked about it and talked about my past addiction and stuff, like when I was using, like, and you know, a lot of people now, they wouldn't. I don't know. That's pretty sophisticated for them out there. I don't know if they were all doing that. Like, I'm not gonna get into. I used to make a drink, you know, and you would sip on it throughout the day, and it was basically like kind of like what people might call, I guess they call lean or something, except it's not like cold medicine. It was just basically a little concoction of vitamin C. It broke down the pills into a liquid, and you can sip on it. Okay, you'd have to look that up. You'd have to be a sophisticated. That was something I learned back in the day, like 20 years ago when I was using, and like, so I thought of that. I'm like, you know, did they have something on in there that they were all sipping on or something, passing it around? You know, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. So in your chat, and I'm not trying to start an argument or anything with anybody, other countries have different rules, different regulations, different body of government, and this just is stuck out to me, and I'm looking. Bear with me a moment here. I apologize. I'm typing real quick.
No, you're fine. Not sure if you know to start surfing with JSB.
So just to give reference so people understand, USA Today, March 8th, 2024. It was a report. It was a newspaper article. The headline of it says, CDC, thousands of emergency room visits involved unsupervised kids who ingested melatonin. And the CDC, when they came out with that information, declared it to be an emergency situation for kids. They are not to be taking melatonin.
And it could have been a combination of, you know, some kind of reaction with something else too. And, you know, like you were saying, and there was that incident where that True talked about how Summer got into the meth one time. Like, that's scary, guys. If you guys have ever done that drug, like, I can't imagine a child doing that. Like, that would be scary for them, you know, because if you do too much of that stuff, like, it's would ugh. So, um, and I can't believe like they just like took, and according to that call, they just took Summered over to, where was it? Didn't Candace drive when that incident happened? Didn't True say Candace drove from Ben Hill Road down to Kingsport where Allie lived to ask her what to do? Like, why were they?
Yeah. So Allie being a nurse, or I don't know what level nurse she is, and everybody that is in the nursing field, please, I'm not trying to compare her to being any good. She was a nurse, and it was a situation where instead of taking him to the hospital, the doctors, which they properly should have, they took her. Look, trying to be right. They took her to Allie's.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So, anyways, let's not forget that Grandis went to the hospital that day. I'm sure they got pain meds. Summer could have easily gotten into meds they picked up at Walgreens. Well, see, the strongest they probably would have got, like in a prescription, would maybe been like 5 milligram Percocets or something.
Yeah,
You think?
it would knock a kid out, but it's not going to do long-term damage as like kill a kid.
Yeah.
I apologize. That's not for exactly the friendly way of saying it on YouTube. My apologies.
No, it's fine. I just said, you know, the meth word, so you know, I know that's a bad word.
No.
Hunters. I never knew she was in her. Well, I think she might have had some kind of like training or something. She probably. I do remember hearing something about her and, you know, doing like some kind of nursing classes.
Mm-hmm.
She might have not been like a RN. I definitely was not, but yeah, I mean, Fred is still here. He's here. So, all right, I don't know if he's here, if he's here fishing. Fred, are you out? Are you in the chat? Some more Walmarts have a clinic. Well, they might have gave her something while she was there.
All grocery stores in this area would have clinics. All the grocery stores that have a pharmacy in them have a clinic. Usually it's for seasonal vaccinations. It's not, or they'll do cholesterol checks or anything, things like that if they have a phlebotomist on staff. But they're not the type of clinic of somebody walking in and getting diagnosed with something. There is a walk-in clinic downtown. I don't remember exactly what it is, so I'm just going to say just in general downtown that a person could go to by appointment. But what happened to Summer that day, and at least what I believe, they needed an emergency room, not a walk-in clinic.
Right. But they didn't get her any help, or we would have.
100%, they did not. They did not.
Some people think like even that. I was just listening to, I don't think I'd ever heard it, a clip of JLR talking to them at the Warriors Park, and he was like at the stables, and they were saying that they saw, whose truck was it, guys, that they said they saw there all day, sitting there all day. I thought they were talking about the white truck, like Dawn's truck is what I thought, but some people are saying it was like Grandis's truck. But
I don't disagree with that, with what electronic meeting was just saying there a moment ago before she said
yeah.
allegedly. I don't disagree with that. I think that,
Mm-hmm.
and I made the statement before that what did happen to Summer, while it is a tragedy, it was a lot better. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. Nobody wants to hear this. I know I had backlash when I was saying it on my channel. That what happened to Summer that day was better off because what her actual parents had planned was more nefarious. And so, as far as the trucks at whatever it calls the horse pond, um,
Yeah, I thought it was Dawn's truck.
there I always said that I believe there was a vehicle exchange that happened there. They were
Mm,
not in the same vehicle, or they combined vehicles and went back and picked up a vehicle later. But there was a vehicle exchange of some type that happened there.
yep. I wonder if they got any type of footage from out there. Um, Summer was already on live in the back seat of the truck, running around the shops. That's why H went home freaking out, rocking and rock. Gosh, I don't know. And the stuff that H Hunter claims to have overheard about this person touching kids on the hill. Dawn calling about that. Um,
Let's be honest. The Wells were always shady people. They had shady friends. Am I surprised as somebody that may have allegedly had a reputation of
mhm.
liking boys or liking girls?
No, because we've seen a lot of them. They hung out a lot with a lot of sex offenders. I mean, there's a lot of evidence of that. Um, I agree with that, Linda, but that's just my opinion. I absolutely believe that. The only other thing it could possibly be is that he possibly had a heads up and about what was happening, and he went out there to move some stuff, hide some stuff, whatever. But if it was something like that, I sure wish he would have freaking said something from the beginning. If it was because they probably would have gave him a slap on the hand for something like that if he would have been honest early on. Um, but I don't know. Every theory I come up with, I have to think like, well, if that's true, then what was Andy doing out there? And I do believe that there's a huge group of them. That's part of the reason why they didn't like, the Redmonds for one, really did not want Fred back there. He wanted that property. There's a whole a group of them that hang out back there, and Sherfies and Redmonds and the Thompson Smiths, like
Oh
they're
yeah,
all like kind of connected. And with that whole like the one neighbor having that exchange student and all those kids up there, I'm just like, it bugs me. I'm like, what church or group is that affiliated with? Are they affiliated with? Because could I know, like, could they have done an illegal adoption? I know that they got money off of her somehow. There's no way Don and Candace are too greedy to just like give her to a family that wants a child, and be like, oh, here, you take her. They're too, no, they have to get money out of her. I know it already. Just like how Dawn was seen handing Andy money the evening of the 15th. Like, what would you be handing Andy Bernard money on the 15th for? The day that your daughter, went missing. And Andy wants to say, oh, it's weed, I get, you know.
I don't think so.
Sandwich medicine. um but this whole thing, you know, the whole like Knoxville thing, and these drug runs could be completely separate from what happened this summer. You know, it could be. I was always kind of thinking it was like connected. I mean, I'm sure it's connected in some way. Um,
Somebody just said about Beach Creek about
where she could be buried.
right. So I've always had the impression, and for those who do know me from your other channel, if you do still use that channel, the people that do know me know about certain unique abilities, but I've always had the impression that she was put into a cave or dropped somewhere where it's going to be because I kept getting the feeling of being just cold, wet, and it being dark and lost.
Well,
Juniper, electronic medium, also understand what I'm saying by impression. But is it possible that a wild animal took her into a cave? A bear took her to a cave? Sure, it's possible. Do I honestly believe that's exactly what happened? Was it an animal, not a bear? But there was a wild animal, human being just animalistic, that I believe that would have.
Now, so the blue truck that there is, Chad Arnold does drive a blue truck. It's like a two-tone, but it's not like the dark blue truck that Fred saw following Andy out, and that what Fred was shown a still shot of. Now, still, we're kind of like, I don't know. We can't say. For Fred doesn't seem to, it doesn't think that Chad could do something or be involved with something like that, because but gosh, like, he's been, I don't know, who knows, like, he was close. Fred wasn't friends with Chad, he was friends with Jason, his brother, and they're two different, you know, they're completely different in their personalities. But he never heard like Chad speak like that, you know, talk about inappropriate, like would never even talk like inappropriately about women. He's kind of like a hermit. He stays to himself. But I do know that he would be hired at times to, you know, by families to bury people if they weren't having the cemetery do it, you know, or, you know, so gosh, I don't know. It's been making me think. I know he was allowing Marlena Crawford to stay on his property here recently, and I don't know what to freaking think, guys. I don't know what to freaking think with that. So now his Chad's brother is deceased. Chad Arnold's brother's deceased now. He was the one that was killed. It's still kind of unsolved a little. They're still, I think, investigating. His mom was trying to convince me to investigate it. She was taken and used and stashed, I believe, an animal got to her, not from the home. See, it makes us. Con Simpson was talking about a cave. Weird stuff about a cave. And that's what Fred turned into law enforcement, and they went out and checked that cave. Sorry.
Electronic Medium and I actually are pretty much step in step as far as like what our inherited ability tells us. I'm trying to word it cautiously because I know a lot of people don't like that, don't believe in that. Please don't read into it if you don't. I don't mind, but this is just my impression. Um, electronic medium and I have been actually pretty much step by step along the way agreeing 100% of what happened. Like what we believe, what I've heard her say parallels what I believe and have said. Yeah. Don has always made statements. Now, I will be the first person to tell you that in Hawkins County, they are taught proper grammar in school. But as far as past, present, and future tense of a word or verb or an action or whatever, they don't use it correctly. They just don't speak that way. They don't use the proper tense of words. So a lot of times when Don Wells spoke, the fact that him living in Hawkins County for as long as he did, I believe a lot of it is adapted. He adapted a lot of that, and it was, but it was. It was more how they speak in the area more than it was anything on some things to be read into.
So that cave, the cave thing that you mentioned, there's a cave out in Ed Redmond's property that Fred really hopes that they've checked. Also, like that cave that he tried to get Ryan to search early on is where TBI ended up going out and search, and Ryan didn't make it to the cave. Anyways, they found it because their search dog, they had a search dog, and it actually, they couldn't find, there was 2 caves, I guess, that he spoke of, or there's something that underwater, and their dog actually went under the water, and that's how they found the freaking underwater cave, is what they said. And were able to find these caves that Cotton was speaking of. Now, Fred asked them, did you find Summer? And they want to answer that question. Now, this would have been the summer of 2023 when Jason Arnold was killed, and they found his bones. Like, they didn't know for a whole, like, over a year that it was his. So law enforcement so it makes you wonder, could they have found her yet? And they don't have her identified, or you know what I mean? I sometimes wonder that.
This area has a lot of homeless. If you go from the Tennessee-Virginia border down towards Asheville, North Carolina, there's a lot of homeless. And they try to do what they can do to have programs for them to be, even if they don't want to be in a shelter, for them to have like some sort of ID or some sort of way of knowing who they are through interactions and whatnot. So there is a lot of times where you will hear that a person has been found, and they won't or initially say who it is. It's just an unidentified person. I'd say probably at 80% of the time, probably more, it's a homeless person or transient person that's going through this area, and they just get lost in the woods.
What's weird, they find, like, for instance, Jason Arnold, like, his skull was found right, in an area they had searched, like, over and over again. So it makes you, like, a year after his death. So it makes you wonder, like, could these people just, like, miss her? I mean, gosh, we hear about this all the time.
No, so this area with work through local practices and work with the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, no, they would not have missed a child going missing.
You remember when they, like, with the now this is a different state, but like, and you would think Tennessee would have worse terrain. Well, in Florida they have the swamps and stuff like that, so I don't know which I think mountains would be harder, but anyways, what about Kaylee Anthony? They found her like right in the, I mean, how did they miss her? You know what I mean?
Well, Kaylee Anthony, her mom put her there. Her mom put her there in a place with that she was trying to preserve her, where with and used was it not masking tape? It's the drawing a mental blank on the name. My apologies. The gray or the gray tape that has the string woven through it. Okay, so
why can't I think of the name now? Now I'm having a break. We know what
somebody's going to tell us the name in a moment. Don't worry.
Yes. Oh my God.
But no, she was put there in an area that she intended to memorialize her child, that she could go and visit, and she was discovered. Duct tape. There you go.
There you go. Yeah. The yellow school bus. I would think they would look at the school bus. You know, you would hope, but you would think that they would have confiscated the vehicles that they were riding around in all day. But I really, really think for some reason, now I know law enforcement was on to Don early on from the very beginning, from day one. They were thinking that he had sold Summer to a drug dealer, according to what they were telling Fred. And they wanted him to, like, when he recorded Dawn, they wanted him to see who, you know, try to figure out who he could have gave her to or sold her to. Because somehow they knew on the 15th too that he had tried to sell his child before. So, which is very strange. So they must have it must be in the system somewhere, because I don't think the sisters would have had time enough to talk to law enforcement on the 15th.
So in that type of situation, when you have a missing kid, because the way it's reported, somebody had brought up to me earlier this week that the law was changed about how kids are reported, and about it being 24 hours. But they were confusing the federal law change and Tennessee law change. Tennessee, because of Boswell, had to report, otherwise parents were criminally held responsible if they didn't report within 24 hours. However, the federal law that passed changed how kids were reported when they were missing. I think it was like 2006 or 2016, somewhere, I don't remember the exact year, where the federal reporting was, it's just held within the state, and if there's an Amber Alert, there's an Amber Alert. They changed it then to go being reported all the way up to and including Secret Service. Before Secret Service, it was just held. It went as high as the FBI, but it changed to be, and it's going to go all the way up to the Secret Service that a missing child is getting reported. Now, why does somebody say Secret Service? Why would they be involved? Homeland Security, FBI, CIA, all fall under Homeland Security. So if they're getting reports, it's not just being reported in the United States. It's getting reported to those that are at the airports, train stations, wherever else they have agents to be on the lookout. Border Patrol, the whole 9 yards.
I was trying to pull up your so this is RJ, and he doesn't go live much or do videos anymore, but
I'm considering coming back, guys, to be honest. I'm considering it, but I don't have plans to at the moment.
Yeah. So there's his link. Tim knows. Well, he could definitely be part of this. Like, church or group, you know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what this. Maybe they. That's why I keep thinking maybe they did a gray market adoption or black market adoption through a church or something, and you know, I kind of have like I've kind of had this feeling like Don, you know, of I could see him going to his church and just say, you know, admitting to him his sins and saying what he had been doing, and I just could see them being like, okay, well, you know, in order to not commit that sin anymore, we could give her another family. So, you know how they say in the Bible to pluck your eye out if it causes you to lust, or cut your hand off if it causes you to steal. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, they're quite very, the way they talk, it just makes me think kind of like cultish. I don't know. Like, love me some RJ. He's so cool, they said.
November Rain, thank you very much. I recognize the name. Top Dog, yes, FBI is part of the DOJ, but when it comes to a child being reported missing, that aspect of it, because they do have that that specialized team, it is under DOJ, but they also will work with Homeland Security. I'm not saying they are Homeland Security, and if I did word it that way, I apologize. They work with.
Well, I'm too honest, like, would they get enough money? I mean, I think that whatever they did, they were given money. I don't know if, I don't know how the adoption stuff works, and like if you're allowed, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I would think that, yes, they could have just like signed her over if they were so worried. But what if, you know, I mean, no, because what if like they saw some kind of signs of abuse actually, when I think about it? And what if, you know, Summer would have started showing signs of that, and then they would have turned it into police, the new family. Um, Possibly, you know what I mean? That's
Mm-hmm.
a fear. Now if it was a church group or some kind of group that already knew what was going on, that there was something going on, and you know, maybe he was feeling ashamed or whatever, and so, and plus needed money, and also didn't want to get in trouble with CPS, and school was starting, a bunch of different things happening around that time that he could scare him.
We registered Summer Wells at a school that's closed, and had been closed for more than a year before they would have needed to register Summer Wells.
Really? It was
Yes.
it was a school that was already closed. I did hear.
We talked about that. I remember talking to you about that. That school had been closed for more than a year
Hey,
before
Giselle.
they would have had to register Summer Wells for school. But it was on his mind to name that school.
Just like they gave the police a picture of her with long hair when she had short hair.
Right.
Like, who does that?
Right.
Who freaking does that?
Right. It was what's her name? Robin, that provided them with the Christmas picture at the church that had actually was it jaw length, like a
Yep.
little bit longer than Dorothy Hamilton style haircut.
Sorry, my dogs are freaking out there. Church is definitely involved. They have dirty hands in this. Well, what if they think that they're doing a good thing? You know what I mean? What if they think they're saving a child from some kind of abuse, and also at the same time, like, you know, helping Dawn from not sinning again? And he's just got turned so religious and weird. That people even said he was not like that before. You know, people have known him said he wasn't like that before, and all of a sudden now, like, he's just, ever since Summer went missing, it's like super religious. Like, he's got into some kind of cult like mentality or thinking, and I could totally. It just seems like to me he wants to so bad, like, be viewed as a good person, and in a way, well, I guess that's not true. He comes on here talking to me. I don't know. there's things that contradict that, I guess, that theory. But sometimes I feel like he wants to be such this good person and be viewed as this good person, you know. Oh, we
Mm-hmm.
just hung around with our church, godly people, you know. Um,
And while you did a lot of work on another church, I did work on their church,
yeah,
and there's fundamental. I what I will say is, like, I personally have fundamental issues with the things that they put out there as doctrine. Um,
I'm here. I'm just going to walk. I'm letting the dogs because they're freaking. Keep going.
I'm,
Sorry.
no, I was thinking of how to appropriately word it. Uh, does anybody, if anybody's Catholic, I apologize because I have to compare this to Catholicism a little bit. The church that they were going to at the time, or started going to after the time, because when they were actually attending is really gray in my mind as far as the dates that they try to claim. Um, Catholic Church has a belief of absolution, that if you go to confessional and you admit to your sin, and you do,
Mm-hmm.
what the priest says, um, their church does the same thing, but they don't call it absolution. They don't call it confessional. They don't call it anything like that. I don't remember what they do call it. But if you go to the elders and seek their advice, I'll put it this way: you seek their advice on a legal issue that you are involved in.
Mm-hmm. It's
Things
anonymous.
like, exactly, it still has that Catholic Church absolution, privacy, a protected statement type of legal status. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you're exactly right, Siggy. That's exactly where I was trying to go with that.
And they
Thank you.
take it very. Some of these churches take it very, very, very seriously. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and will not. You could go to them with their worst of crimes, and you know, so that's why I think like that. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, if you think of how Christian is thinks, and how how in the Bible it says, like, you know, you're clean of all your sins if you just admit it to God and the church. So it just makes me wonder, like, but and that's why I always tell people to play on his religion. That's probably the way to get him to tell the truth. Like, you know, hey, you're not going to ever see Summer again in the resurrection because I feel like he thinks that if he just admits his sins to God, you know, in prayer and to the church, that he's, you know, cleared, you know, that's how I feel he's thinking.
Lady May, I did. There is a video on my channel. John Q is on it as well. If you're not familiar with who he is, him and I get going on certain details. A lot of information gets put out there, and I'm not trying to say nobody else covers it, but I did a video. I did a breakdown of what I'm talking about with the app, with the church, the Seventh Day Adventist Church, and that whole scenario of the absolution. And I found doctrine, a thesis paper that somebody did when they were in college that was backed by the SDA. So there is a lot of information. There is information out there on that.
And you know, I also heard that I don't know if for a fact, but it was rumored that the church was actually closed for a week early on. I did go to that church for a Sunday, and you know, it seemed nice. I didn't see anything too out of the ordinary, but it's not gonna be like so out there at you know, first thing usually. And also, it might not be the whole church, it could be just a small group of the church, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that happens. Like, we can't judge the whole SDA if it does end up being maybe it's just a select few. And also, what about, you know, I didn't look into him much, but the flute player, like,
Dotson.
yeah, Dotson, um he came to that church only a couple weeks before Summer went missing, and then was basically out, he became a member, I think it was like the end of May or something of 2021. Summer goes missing in June 15th, 2021. And then he's like moved on from that church like soon after she went missing. It makes me nervous. Where did he come from, and I don't know. And then he was up on the hill immediately when Summer went missing too.
Yeah.
So exactly. That's what I'm saying. You have to repent to everybody, right? You can't go around telling, if you're a Christian, you can't just like, you can't sit there and continue to lie to everybody. Oh, I didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, I wouldn't think that is like repenting or being saved if you're going to admit your sins to God and your church, but then right after go around saying, I didn't have any, lying to everybody else. I just don't think that's how it works.
Lean on me. I kind of agree and disagree. The fact that this became a national story did complicate it. Was it social media that complicated? Sure. We don't have the legal of we have to prove a rumor. We can say we heard a rumor, we're reporting a rumor, or we're telling what is a rumor just to put the information out there. Does that also complicate it some? Sure. However, they have to meet the legal meet a legal standard of proof. So if they can't prove, or they can't have show proof of something somebody's saying, they have to ignore it. Did the fact that a missing 5-year-old from rural Tennessee, and the way that the story got put out there so quickly and so heavily, hurt? Maybe. But I'd like to say it also helped, because it brought the attention that there was something going on with that family within Tennessee, within the whole, not just Tennessee, but a larger area of of trafficking and things like that. So
yeah, I don't think the brothers, I don't know. You would think that they tried to hide whatever happened that day from the brothers. Let's see. I'll see her in the resurrection. Religion was brought in first. Yeah, he always says that.
he tried to make that to be the focal point and a huge thing. Like, who says that? I've not heard any, unless they themselves have guilt, that no parent goes directly to that. It's woe is me, what the hell, my kid is missing.
Mm-hmm. See, I agree with Top Dog that I don't believe it was social media. I believe it was Hawkins County themselves messing up the evidence from the beginning. And maybe not the whole department or anything, but that, you know what I'm saying? Once again, there could be a couple in law enforcement that are part of this group, and that could making things, it really seems like it. I think that they, from early on, like I think they did fumble it for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why they haven't been harder on people like Andy Bernard, obviously the parents. Like, we know from the beginning. See, what I was thinking with Andy is like, well, at first they wouldn't have thought too much about it because he's allowed to be on the road because he lives there, which, it wouldn't have been too weird. Of course, why was he all the way back there? Because his house is before that point. So they probably wouldn't have questioned him too hard, but little did they know he was going to be all over the internet, like denying being on the road. So I think a lot of the stuff, and from the work I know and what Fred recorded for him, it seems obvious from many of us thought, like, have all like felt some kind of ring from the beginning, but for some reason, Hawkins County, I don't know. They just, I think they're now. I do think now that they are onto it. I do believe now. Thank God. Stop.
Well, I mean, let's go back. I don't remember how many people remember this, but when everything did happen and they were going, please help me, police help me, you know, the property already had a reputation. The police knew what the reputation was. The police would have to park down on the street before going up on the property to make sure that there wasn't tack boards hidden under the ground. And if anybody is unfamiliar with a tack board, it's the little strip of wood that is put along the wall when somebody's laying carpet. That was buried in the dirt at the base of their driveway. So it's not that the police couldn't get directly up there, because they couldn't. They had to go looking for the tack boards to remove them so they could get a police cruiser up there on property.
Where was this you were talking about?
The base of their driveway.
The wells?
Yes. You didn't know about that?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know it's difficult to get up there and stuff. I didn't drive up it when I got the dog.
Oh, no. They had wood that was hidden under the ground, that buried in the ground, that they would have screws and nails. And that's why I'm using tack board, because that's what it's like. But they would have that all buried underneath the ground.
So how would they get? They would. I mean, obviously they would avoid it because they would know where it was at or something.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. And yes, this is absolutely true, Top Dog. I think that's one of the, and I hate to throw law enforcement under the bus like that. Dogs keep barking. But it unfortunately is true. Fred, they actually asked Fred to do it, and he told him would be weird as hell that they would know something's up because he doesn't party with the Wills. Fred doesn't drink, for one, either. So he didn't do drugs with the Wills ever. Or sell them drugs. So it would have been strange. And he told them that. So they did it themselves. And I know, and I don't know. And I feel bad because I don't have anything against these officers really, but it makes me wonder, like, did that screw something up? Is that why things got so delayed? Like, are they able to use that evidence that they got with Fred? Because, like, I don't know. I do know that those two deputies weren't allowed up there again and I'm guessing it was because of that. And I'm just worried that screwed something up. You know, I'm very, very worried about that. I don't know what could have possibly been really screwed up. Beyond, like, I would think that would just be the 15th. I wouldn't think that would be, or what day. I don't know what day it was that they bought alcohol. Fred will probably tell us here in a second.
Oh, Fred's there?
He's somewhere in chat. I think
okay.
He might be here somewhere, or outside.
Fred, if you are, come on in and say hi. I know you don't like being on camera and stuff like that, but please say hi.
He'll come. I'm sure he'll come back here in a second and tell us, like, you think Lawson's involved. Well, and I kind of wonder if that had something to do with, like, you know, why things were slow. Like, were they worried that Lawson's son was involved or something? I don't know.
Fred Hill says 17.
Oh, on the 17th was alcohol. Where are you? Are you out on the porch? They all separated themselves from one another in the beginning, acted like they didn't know. Exactly. Who does that? The only person that was honest about their connections and drug use was Fred. I mean, people should obviously see. It's very easy. Whoever comes out defending this group and stuff in the Wells, like, immediately you guys radar should be going off like, oh my gosh, are they part of the crew, as I call them? Are they part of the crew? There's a big group of them, and I think we're going to see a huge group arrested when it does go down. And I absolutely believe that's part of that they're afraid of them taking off. You know, if they find out what their law enforcement's onto them, I think they're afraid that somebody's going to take off, or maybe even unalive themselves or whatever. We've had so many people end up deceased. It's insane.
Well,
oh, you're out fishing. Fred's fishing. So he's not even here.
Good to see you in the chat. Life expectancy in Tennessee for those that are born in the Kingsport area is below the national average, from what I understand. And it could be that their exposure to natural environment, I don't know what it is. It could be that they're working at over at Domtar, or I don't know. I don't know why. It's below average in this area. So
I think there was more though. I think a lot of some of these deaths, though, I don't think were quite natural. Just too weird that I'm sure some of them are coincidences, but there's a lot of people that's passed away surrounding the case. I mean, I could go on and on. Like, if we want to start, I was making a list, and it changes too. Of course, there's more and more people that end up deceased right now. Supposedly, there's rumored Grandis is deceased. I don't know. I have not seen any proof of that.
Yeah, there's been no proof of that.
Right. At all. And there's channels putting it out as fact, and I just don't know where they're getting it. Yeah, lady officer said it was out of the norm.
Lady officer being the TBI or FBI rep?
Probably that TBI lady, or or Earhart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's that former jail correctional officer. Morrison case is sealed. He was ex-cop. Like, oh, are you talking about the guy that was buried? That guy was a cop? Nuh-uh. Are you serious? Wait. Are you talking what Morrison case? If that guy was an officer, that's concerning, because I saw his associates on there, and there's some not. If that's true, are you talking about the Morrison that people are trying to say like Summer's buried there?
I was going to say, are we speaking of the cemetery that's directly across the road?
I think so, yeah. And the one that PG was trying to say, like, something about this Morrison dude. He was buried, or he died right around the time Summer went missing, and was buried.
He died April 14th.
April 14th?
April 14th. If my memory is correct, it was.
I'm sorry, June 14th.
I said it. It was not April. I apologize. April 14th is on my mind. It was June 14th. It was the day before. But let's be honest and realistic here. By the time the burial site was prepared, the liner was in place, and the person was prepared for burial, that's going to take 2 to 3 days. So even if he did die on the 14th, he's not going to be buried till the 16th or the 17th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless, like, I mean, I don't know.
I've been to the cemetery.
Yeah,
I've been to that cemetery.
Yeah, Timothy Morrison, Fred's saying, was not a cop. So that's the person that and Evil Entered speaking about a different Morrison, Paul Morrison. He's younger. Okay.
I've been to that cemetery. Where that burial location is too exposed for something like that. It's almost dead center middle of the cemetery. You go in the gates, You walk up 15 yards, and it's the first grave on your left.
I don't know why the dogs are barking. Hold on. I don't remember a horse jumping.
Are you talking about the horse during the press conference? That was dragging its stall gate behind him or her?
Sorry, my daughter has a friend here and she didn't ask. 1 second. If you could, do you mind answering the questions for a little bit?
Go ahead. Let's see here. No, Rhiannon, I don't believe so either. There was a rumor that I had heard that the TBI recently bought into that possibility and it had a ground penetrating radar, and it's not been dug up. There's no factual anything to it. So yes, we are talking about the horse that it was dragging its stall gate. Yeah, so there's a horse farm, a ranch, and they had a couple of Fred, if you're listening, please help me here. They took in horses that were had behavioral issues. And this one was actually had been trying to break the stall gate for a while and finally did. I don't believe she is in that cemetery. There's no way. Yeah, 100% November rain. I don't believe so. If it was that the person had gotten buried the same, like she went missing overnight and buried the same day, first you're going to notice that the person that comes out and does the attending work of preparing the gravesite with all the mechanicals that morning would have noticed something like that. So it's not possible, in my opinion. Peace Seeker, that's exactly why I'm asking for his help. My recollection on that is that that's what was going on. Is they had horses that had behavioral issues. They were trying to break the horse, but it had been trying to break the gate for a while, and finally had done so, and it took off and was dragging it.
You believe the horse was involved? I could tell you about that horse. Like that was David Bay's horse. The horse that was on the news interview was David Bay's horse. It got away from David, had a sled behind it. Yeah. So Fred told that whole story. Now David Bays, as far as we know, is not part of this crew. He's not part of really the group of people that we know of. But that day, supposedly, who was it Fred? He let somebody borrow his car and they didn't return it. And he took his horse and went looking for the person. I mean, it's normal down there. People ride the horses places. So he took his horse and he rode down to go find out why that person, see if he could find him. And while he was at this person's house, it took off and it was headed back home to Ben Hill Road. Is the story.
Yeah, the point, from what I had heard and what Fred's saying is actual. I'm not going to try to say I know better, because Fred was, even though I'm about 10 miles away, Fred was there. Fred's in that
David
area.
Bays was his neighbor, like right next door, basically. So, something that he knew. And plus, where he went that day, too, I think Fred knew that person, if I remember right. I don't remember where that was, but Yeah, he
The
said David Bazels. It's actually David. He meant to say David Bays. He just spelled it wrong. He does talk to text, and he has a very strong accent. You know how many times he has to do that over and over again? It's like, I think if you just typed it out, even if you type really slow, it'd probably be faster because it keeps like it can't understand his accent. So yeah, that's why it said David Bazels, because I'm sure he was doing talk to text.
we're good. We're good. But no, I don't believe. I always felt that horse was, like I said, I thought it was from that. If Fred knows the farm, or knows the farm I'm talking about, he'll of course be more than happy, if he is more than happy to chime in about that. Um, but that's always what I had heard about with the horse being loose that day.
I see what you're talking about. About the Churchill man named in federal CP indictments, and that was Timothy or Paul Thomas Morrison III. Yeah, I asked Fred if he recognized him a while back, and he doesn't recognize that dude. But yeah, he's a Morrison. Now I do know that the Morrisons have a big beef with the county. They sued the county or something, um, because of one of their somebody's death. Somebody died or got killed in an accident, I think, with a law enforcement officer that was like speeding or something. I don't know. Is my right about that, Fred? And so like the Morrisons like sued Hawkins County or something. So I know there's like bad blood between the two, allegedly, between some of the family members and law enforcement. Um, So the same place I picked up the second bite that day. Oh, okay. So that was okay. Now the horse thing, I believe she was on the horse and sat down. Yeah, but where would be you would have horse footprints though. You know? You would see horse footprints as well, not just her footprints. And a horse is going to weigh a lot more than a child. So if there was a child footprint, they would have saw horse footprints too. I don't believe the whole footprint. I mean, I know that there was footprints. Yes, I do believe it, but I don't think it had. I just don't think anything of it because all it was a footprint. There's no scent or anything, you know. So
Here's what I think about the whole footprint issue. Candace at the time tried to make it believe, and Don Wells did as well, that they were super attentive parents and that they knew where their kids were 24/7. But it was the complete opposite. And God rest his soul, Jose, had said it was the opposite. Those kids were allowed to go out from dawn till 54 hours, and they really didn't care where they went, what they did, as long as they were back by supper, more or less than anything else. And that's not a direct quote. I'm just giving you my synopsis of what was actually going on. Those kids were given free reign of going anywhere, and it wasn't even like a choice of it. They were drunk, stone, high, on whatever, that they didn't know where their kids were. They didn't even care.
Christy said, "A horse with a sled in June. For fuck's sakes, what kind of cornbread mafia shit is that?" Jeez, these dogs, dude. I don't think was he planning on towing the car back with the horse? Is that possible? Is that what kind of? I don't know.
I mean,
Fred
well,
said sled, but I don't know if I don't. I think he meant like a. I don't know if it's really a sled.
I mean, well, technically, yeah, a horse could do it if it was strapped up right. If it was like a horse that is used to pulling a sled, sure, it could. One or two horses could. Would I want the horse to work that hard? No.
Yeah, that seems like rough on the horse for just one horse. If that's what he was planning on doing, I didn't really think of that until right this second. Like, oh, he was planning on, because I didn't know that's what he was doing till recently. That's going out there to trying to get back his vehicle that he let somebody borrow. Why is it
So,
that?
I mean, you have the reason I can't say agree to that is because you have one or two issues. One, you're either going to control the horse, and the car's momentum is going to hit the horse and hurt the
Yeah,
horse,
you would think it would hurt it,
or you're
right?
going to control and have brakes of the car, which is you're not going to be able to control the horse. So there's major issues with that.
Unless he
Somebody
was drunk
saying
and
that.
thought it, maybe he thought it was a. Maybe that's a good thing the horse got away if he was planning on doing something like that, because that would have been. You're right. Those hills too out there and all that twistiness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just was. You'd have to have somebody that could do one and do the other.
You would walk the horse out the window and drive slow. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Is that why the oldest boy kept saying it wasn't my fault to Candace? Yeah, allegedly, like, isn't that Jody Sue who said that she overheard the boy saying, "Oh, it wasn't my fault, it wasn't my fault."
Sure, the parents actually tried to blame the boys at first.
Yep.
You're. I don't remember how old the oldest boy was at the time. Well, he would have been what, 11, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You have
he's
your
about
parents.
to be 17. If not,
right.
Yeah.
You have your parents saying, blaming them or telling you hear them telling the police that about what the boys said and the boys did. Your 11, 12-year-old kid who is just legally old enough to start being where the parents didn't need to have a babysitter in the house and the other siblings could be left alone with that 11, 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He's now guilt-ridden. He went from being 11 or 12-year-old kid to be guilt-ridden that his sibling is missing.
Yeah, because
the parents are saying what he did.
Plan to make him feel that way, which is horrible. Because you know how Candace said, "Oh, I told the boys to watch her."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fred said David had just went to try to find his car out on Lone Star where Brandon Clark had borrowed it and was staying some. Why did he take the? Do you know why he took that whole the trailer thing on the horse? Is Brandon Clark deceased? What? I don't think so. His father passed away. If Brandon Clark passed away, that would have been a new thing.
Peacemaker, that's actually a really good way to summarize what an 11 or 12-year-old kid would be thinking at that time. That's a really good summary of it.
Josie does look good. I hope that they all, from what I've seen, look good. The horse was never planned to pull anything other than his sled or taking him to where his car should have been. And then he had a driver with him that was going to drive it back. Oh, okay. So he had somebody with him when he went out there. Okay. I know. It was almost like that. Also, he would take it wasn't just that interview. He was taking that boy, according to people around the area, like he was taking that oldest boy with him, like all over the place. Like, it's almost like the oldest boy maybe saw something or knew something. I don't know. Or maybe he is the oldest, so he would be able to probably speak the best about what he's witnessed, I guess. Someone said that on Killers about Brandon Clark. I don't.
Lady May, all the boys, all the kids were wild. They didn't try to control their children. While nobody's ever going to have proof of what why there was involvement of CPS at that time, I still firmly believe that it was something to do with the boys being in elementary school or in the schools and the teacher reporting it. Is the only way that a CPS case would have been closed the day before, and coincidentally, some are going missing the next day. Now, when in Tennessee, when I'm saying it's closed, the case was sent to Knoxville and then on to Nashville for it to be officially closed. There's a chain of command and reporting to actually close a case, and it would go to your regional, which would be Knoxville. Then it would go to state, which is Nashville, and they would close it at Nashville.
I mean, even the law enforcement mentioned somewhere. Now, I can't pull it up right now, but they did say that there was an open case when Summer went missing, so I really don't think it was closed.
Well, it wouldn't have been closed until Nashville reviewed it. Reviewed it and closed it there.
Right.
So that if I'm correct, and I will say if I'm correct, the police were great in saying that it was still open, and that it was a situation where it would not have been closed until Nashville reviewed it. Just the way that Tennessee reporting works.
Sorry, somebody just. What the heck? Dude. Somebody just. Okay, I'm going to show this. Somebody just showed me. That's amazing. Screenshots. Oh, you're going to have to see it first. Of members at the church who are sex offenders. Holy crap. From the SDA church. I don't know if she wants me to say who sent it or not. I don't know if they care if I say, but I'm going to show it. And there's a couple people here. She sent proof of the people at the events for Summer Wells, and then their picture, their sex offender pictures. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. That's weird. I didn't know about this. It's going to take me a few to get it over there, guys. So if, no, hate this. She found two sex offenders at the church from the SDA church, which it could be nothing. I mean, maybe they really want to try to change the life around and I try and do good, but is there, I don't know. No, Brandon Clark's dad, as far as is Pete, from what we know, but there was somebody else in here saying that they thought it was somebody else, but Fred's always been under the impression it was Pete Clark. Here we go. So this is, here we go. Okay, so I know you can't see it that well, but see this guy right here?
Sitting down?
The black dude that's standing up right next to Robin. And then let's see. Here is his child offender against children picture. Oh my God, that's definitely the same guy. Holy crap. He's right at the forefront too. Child offender against children. And then there's this guy. Aggravated statutory rape. I think he's probably just, so this one's is a sex offender, but I don't think against children the way it looks. But either way, right here, I guess, is him out in the crowd. Are we sure that that guy right there is that does look like him? We know the black guy is the same guy, definitely, but wow. So 2 members from the church, or this was at some kind of church event. That's weird. I went to the church. I remember seeing that black guy there, and he's always up there standing at the front. Huh. No, that's not the preacher. Now this Paul Morrison, what were you trying to say about him? Like just the fact that, yeah, he had the CP, and I'm talking to the person texting me out loud if you guys are confused. So this offender against children. Wow. It is creepy. Did anybody know of this? I'm guessing the person that sent me this, like, has a channel, so I figured that they would put it, maybe they just didn't have a chance to put it out, or maybe I just haven't seen it. This dude, yeah, that's the same guy.
I've always said, Alicia P., I've always said, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name, I've always said that it's not so much that it's happening more in Tennessee than it has happened in any other state. It's that such a strong spotlight has been shined on it that it started getting investigated heavily and being made public attention. If you look past just what happened with Summer Wells and look at it more of a statistical thing, the percentage wise is equal or just about equally the same in almost all states.
Also can generally attend church. Many tourists require. Yeah, they can attend church. Yes, they can. I would think that they could. I mean, they have to obtain permission. Oh,
yeah, they have to make everybody aware, and like they can't have anything to do with children's programming or anything like that. But they're allowed to attend church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a little interesting tidbit. Could mean nothing. Could just be, it could mean just nothing. It could just mean they attend church there, I guess. I don't know. It's interesting. It's good to know, though, for sure, in the future, if anything comes up with those people. And the one's not a child offender. He's an adult offender, but just like Jody Sue's dad, I guess is an adult offender. From what it looks. Those people do not change. Yeah, well, I don't know. How long do you have tonight? Are you needing to go, RJ? I don't want to keep you forever.
No, if you want to keep talking, we can keep talking. Okay. If people got more questions, I don't have a limit.
Yeah, does anybody have any more questions? Why are they allowed to be around kids at the church? Well, I guess it's probably that freedom of religion whole thing. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, even if a person is a registered sex offender, as long as they are notifying when it comes to like a church or attending church, as long as they are notifying people in the church, that somebody is there. It's parental discretion at that point. If they'll attend this service, they'll put out there that this person's going to be attending this particular service. There's a service an hour later that you can attend, or 2 hours later with Sunday school and being in between. That type of deal. They would be able to do something like that.
What does she look at his name? Summers reading. Oh, readings. Don, Ford guy, and Bill guy. A Ford guy. Oh. I've never looked into that guy before. Honestly, truth is, I don't see very many black child sex offenders. I mean, that's just for some reason, but I've never seen them before. I found that the African American man from the church was also on the list. I forgot his name. Which list was that? Are you talking about like some kind of reading somebody did? Oh, he lives in a mobile home the next county over. Okay.
Did they say Bluntville or Blount County?
Is it Blount County? That's the area where that woman who claims that she was dropped off by Dawn after, well, the friend of the woman. She claimed to be a friend of the woman the lady of the night, the one that supposedly Dawn was going and seeing and gave her right away, allegedly.
The woman that is this is the same woman that did the dirty right in front of Candace?
No, are you talking about Crystal Spencer? What do you mean did the dirty? Wow, they've had so many weird things happen up there. Maybe I shouldn't start guessing. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, when I'm trying to be very PC about it, was intimate with Dawn.
Yeah. Crystal Spencer was the one that she got mad about. Also recently heard too, this new one. Wow. It's rumored that about Dawn. Gosh, there's several of them. Suppose it's even, well, maybe I shouldn't even say it.
Miss Justice, I saw your question. The answer is no. I don't believe that that Don had leverage on his boss like that. Don's boss has a very good reputation. He is an upstanding, respected guy. If he gets a traffic ticket, I'd be surprised. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a good old boy. If he's got a mud truck or whatnot, he's going out and go mudding and things like that with his family. But I like I said, if he gets more than a speeding ticket, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. So yeah, to look up, here's RJ's link right here. And to the ones that are trying to search him, you have to type in RJ back to two RJs, like RJ.
Yeah.
And just type RJ conversations and it will pull it right up. You don't have to have the whole name, but there's the link.
If you want to actually just type and search it, the link that Ziggy just posted, if you do the @Conversations Living Room, it will show up.
Okay. So, no, not usually, Alicia, especially not in that area. Mary claims she caught Dawn doing something with a dog. Yeah, that's another freaking... Whoa. Yeah, I don't... There's been so many shocking things, and yet we have people that still want to defend Dawn and Candace, and like some of these... And I just don't understand that. I just don't get how... The only thing I can think of is that they've got blackmail on them. I think some of these people have been hanging out up there and probably were drinking or doing even worse with them to try to get information out of them and come up, you know, some things could have happened. And I hear, you know, like I said, there was police called one incident, and I wish so bad that we could FOIA everything, but they're so... I know somebody who's trying and tried, and they said that they're really like...
They keep coming up with their excuses, but they just are not doing it.
Yeah. A lot of old videos taken down from other creators that hold good information. Yeah, I don't understand that unless it's somebody is just trying to be buddy with Dawn and Candace because they don't want Dawn and Candace to expose them for what, you know, that's what I feel.
It's just like Summer Wells going missing. The whole activity that happened, and if you go and wherever to watch some of the videos I put out there, I plain and simply called it the refer to the property without saying the address. Even though it was on police scanners and everything, I called it a trading post, a horse farm. You know. And no, it has nothing to do with the horse getting loose. It just was a way of saying that the property would be better off being used as a horse farm. But it was a trading post, meaning that if it was something coming through the area that shouldn't be coming through the area, it possibly had ties to going to or stopping at 110 Ben Hill Road. And I'll let you all draw the conclusions. I do go into if you watch the videos, I do go into details about it, but, and it's not self-promotion of go watch my videos. I'm just saying that, you know, there's a lot of trafficking going on that involved that property.
Sorry about that. I was taking care of something real quick.
No, you're fine.
Was Pete Clark dating Glenda Head? Fred, can you answer that? I think so. Yes. Now, Glenda Head I do know Glenda Head used to be married to Cotton Simpson.
I'm not familiar with those names, so I couldn't tell you one way or the other.
Oh, Dawn used to live with one of the biggest feral rapists in Utah or Arkansas. Dude was arrested for messing with all the kids in their house. Ew, really?
Well, okay.
Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't, but am I 100% shocked to hear that Don Wells was associated with such and such? No. Yeah, I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I'm laughing. Am I shocked? No.
Right.
Let's not forget that this guy was the one arrested for stealing panties from a woman's dryer.
Yeah. But hey, we have proof of that too, and that's totally okay, right? You know, these people are that support them just think it's so. Donna Candace, great people, I guess. Like I just can't wait till the truth comes out, and these people are going to be so like, I don't know how they're going to explain themselves.
Go back to just that general topic for a moment. The police criminal TV shows, if you ever watch them, when they look back into somebody's history, they look for a natural progression of a crime. One's going to evolve into another. If he was doing that, and the proof is that he was when he was in his teens and 20s, that he was stealing a woman's panties from the dryer, why does anything shock you about his behavior now?
Right.
It just when 1 + 1 = 2 and 2 + 2 = 4, everything makes sense. And that's what is happening with when you look at the behaviors back then going into their behavior at 110 Ben Hill Road. It should be shocking and like, oh my God. But in reality, it's not.
Mm-mm.
It makes sense.
It used to be shocking early on. It used to, but then you get desensitized to it. It used to be shocking when we find out things, but now it's just like, oh yeah, just okay, normal everyday thing up at the wells.
Right.
Gregory McWhorter is the RSO in Arkansas that was married to Pam Wells' daughter. Oh, really?
Well, wasn't his own son that lives in Arkansas that had an issue, RSO issue?
Huh?
Wasn't his son that lives in Arkansas?
Oh. Yeah, he lived in, yes. You mean Donwell's son? Yeah, he's RSO too. Yeah, the oldest one. Like, not the one with Candace, obviously, the adult one. With the one with Pam. So that's interesting. So Pam Wells' daughter is married to, or was married to, an RSO. And also Pam Wells' son, and Don is an RSO, so. What about Teresa? Dawn always getting naked with Summer taking her to bed all the time. Allie's daughter thought that, yeah. Ugh, that's creepy. I don't know. I mean, I can't. I understand she was a kid and stuff, a child, but I can't imagine sleeping in bed with my dad naked. That's creepy. Ew.
I'll even go one step further on that one. The Candace saying that she was busy with doing laundry that day or one day, I forget when it was, is an outlier statement, trying to make herself look normal. From my understanding, something Jose had said that kind of got brushed under the rug type of deal, wasn't just the way that Summer was. It was everybody on 110 Ben Hill Road. If they weren't expecting company, if they could get away with it, I'll put it that way. They were not exactly people to put clothes on to go downtown, or they would, if they could get away with not being fully dressed, they would. I think it's the most polite way I could say it. Jose had said that there was a number of times where they would have to go chase Summer, and she would run off the property without clothes on. So that's what I'm referring to. So if anybody wants to know.
Somebody was sending me an article about that boogeyman. I guess that the one that gets 40 years. It's not letting me pull it up. I'm going to try to pull up a different. A different article. So it's trying to get me to make an. So Gregory, okay, I guess Gregory McWhorter. Gregory. So this is one of Don Wells' buddies. This boogeyman guy.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah, I guess I could pull up this article. You can't see it completely, but it just shows that this guy was sentenced to from in May of 2012. What year did I was about to ask what year did Rose Bly go missing, but she went missing, I think, a few years before that. Fayetteville man who reportedly referred to himself as the boogeyman to scare children received the 40-year prison sentence Tuesday for sexually abusing 3 children. And this is in Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas. So that was one. Oh, that's so nice. When he thinks Summer, oh yeah, when do you think Summer's case is going to be solved? I mean, do you think it's going to be solved, or
I think it will be solved, but it's going to take somebody being in the right place at the right time and almost accidentally finding type of deal. Like a lot of cases that end up happening where it's just you're in the right place at the right time and see something that nobody ever saw before.
Right? The fact that people saw these things and never called police just makes me sick. I know.
Rose Bly went missing 8/21/2009.
2009. Do you think it's whatever happened to her is related to Summer Wells? Or you think it seems awfully coincidental, and I always thought it was the same, but then I kind of got this feeling like she took off, and I don't know, when I did a reading, I just keep getting something about her taking off, having a new life with somebody, but
yeah, I felt like she was trying to escape something, but something else happened. Do I believe it? I believe it's possible. I believe it's possible, but I don't. I just don't know enough about Rose Bly to be able to say yes or no.
Yeah, I know, me either. It's just crazy. We should have answers by now, but more answers, but we don't have anything. But I guess I do have to probably go because I have to get to the store before it closes, and it closes at 10. Everything freaking closes around here so early. So, and we have been on for over 2 hours. So,
oh, have we? I have not been paying attention to the time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I've been on here for freaking 4 times that, 6 times that before. Early days, Ziggy, but
I remember listening to you one time, falling asleep, and I don't know if it was a new live or the same live you were on when I woke up in the middle of the night. I was like, "Holy cow, woman!"
Oh, I don't know how I did it, but I mean, I guess like at that time, there was just so much to talk about and craziness going on. So yeah, when you hang around the thousand people, you put your life in danger, and it also you becomes desensitized to that kind of stuff too, like weird stuff. If you're around a bunch of people who are into, weird stuff, like even like Don and Andy both claim to be around people being sold. It's like I've never seen that. Birds of a feather flock together. You know what I mean? That just seems very, very odd. I that's just not something you see or witness unless you are part of that lifestyle. You usually 95% of the time.
I'm not the only person who remembers those days.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Dom says, "Yep, I remember those days."
I know, the good old days, right? All right. Well, thank you, RJ, for coming on and being a guest.
Absolutely,
I
anytime.
really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll have to do it again. Maybe we'll have next time we'll have some answers. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll hold my breath.
always hoping for that day to have an answer because
Yeah.
the Summer Wells community is so huge that it, forget the parents for a second. Forget the freaking parents for a moment. The Summer Wells community who has been holding on to hope and wanting to do everything they can possible for Summer Wells. They deserve the answer. They deserve the moment to mourn. They deserve the see that she's finally in her resting place or alive that she has been found. So I really do hope for something to finally be said soon.
Oh, yeah. It's just,
I just don't know when.
yeah. All right, guys. Same here. I mean, every day I'm praying every freaking night. I'm begging God for answers, seriously, for the truth to come out. It's like, so keep praying, guys. And it does for me. I do feel like for some reason, I do feel like the energies changed around the case and that it feels differently and it feels like they're actually on to something. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but I don't know. I think that they're finally going the right route. So I hope. But all right, guys. Oh, we lost RJ, but he must have already. All right, guys. Thank you all for being here, and we'll talk to you later.